welcome to the show. The guys from the Degen Protocol who've been building out a protocol that utilizes the sheep token for a while, but they also manage a pretty wicked community of people that I've been a part of for a little while now. So, why don't we get some quick intros for our listeners and figure out who everybody is?
Yeah. Well, I'm Crypto Blacksheep. I'm the CEO of Degen Protocol. I started the Telegram community. It'll be 5 years ago, in just under a month, December 15th. We started with just about a handful, dozen people that didn't know anything about crypto, and got rug pulled throughout the years from everything from BitConnect to everything in between. And it's been cool though, because we once the DeFi space started to mature a little bit, obviously we found great opportunities like Hex and Drip and stuff like that. It's I made a lot of money. Our community made a lot of money in the Drip ecosystem, and it was sometime about last year after we had seen the direction that these dApps were going. We decided that we'd launch our own community token, which is based on the Elite protocol, which Donnie can go more into depth on what exactly it is. And here we are. Donnie, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, man. Yeah, hi, man. By the way, I'm Donnie D, Don Function, developer of the Degen Protocol. So yeah, look, I joined the boys last year. I think it was December 2021, a little bit before that. I was sort of just a community member, and then sort of through sharing a bit of my development skills, eventually onboarded with the guys when they decided one day, hey, let's make our community a token. So, with my own sort of experiences and all of that sort of thing in the space, I got hold of some technology known as ERC 31337. Or ERC Elite, which is created by a group called Rootkit Finance, and basically it's an entire token ecosystem which we've built Sheep Token and its various extensions upon, it's really quite incredible. But yeah, I can go into more detail about it when there's a actual question about it. But
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so we started Sheep Token, which also had the X Sheep staking, and it just took off with such great reception as well. We chose Kronos because largely it was one of the new sort of chains coming out, and we were ready to go. We really wanted to launch on Pulse Chain actually. Anticipating the arrival of Pulse Chain, it was, really we put it up to the community, say, hey, do you want to wait for Pulse or do you want to launch on Crow? And so everybody just sort of picked Crow, and I think it was about a week's work. We had everything put together, and over the last year or so, we've been writing the code and running various tests and iterations of what will become the Woolshed.
No, it's pretty wild, and I don't actually mess around with Kronos very much. Like, what's adoption like on that chain right now?
Honestly, it had a major adoption spike early on. I feel like there has been a little retraction since big players such as Mad Meerkat, for example, they've actually gone and jumped on Polygon recently. But yeah, no, it's there's definitely good projects still out there. I think very soon, though, with the way that we're headed and with the way that our chart's looking, our fundamentals, I'd say that Sheep is very much going to be a leader on that corner before too long.
Yeah, I peeped the chart this morning and it looked pretty solid. I mean, it's kind of what you want from a token at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is the Sheep token has Degen Protocol itself has external revenue streams that we're building up with other dApps. We've got a hedge fund we're working on building up, and these are all going in daily buybacks. I mean, we're buying anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a day, just depending on what we're pulling out. And I mean, we've already bought back in the last 2 months. We bought back about 1.4% of the entire original supply. There's a million token supply, but there's also 1% that's actually been burned off and is gone forever. So that 1% that's gone forever, plus the 1% that we bought, and the buybacks aren't going to stop, and they're just going to get bigger and bigger over time as these revenue streams keep building. yeah, so it's great. It's forcing the chart up. I mean, if people aren't buying it, we're gonna buy it. We're gonna force the price to as high as we can get it.
No, for sure. And there's a
So
couple things I want to follow up on there, but I'll give EK a chance to introduce himself.
Yep.
yeah,
And
go ahead.
my name is White Rhino. I've been with the group for a few years now, and been in the crypto space since 2017. I started actually mining cryptocurrency and building miners and doing that whole route. And then, came proof of stake. So you found some opportunities in master nodes and stuff. And then I found the DeFi space and what these guys were doing. So that's kind of where I come in. Is we had this idea of creating our own token, but we wanted to do it in a way that encompassed all the best parts of crypto. So, our Woolshed will have kind of an aspect of mining Bitcoin from the start with our NFTs. So there's just, we took NFTs, DeFi, proof of stake concepts from Bitcoin, even proof of work to a degree, kind of blended it all into one system. And the thing about putting it on Crow was actually kind of a two-phase plan. One, yes, it was an available chain that we can go on that wasn't because Pulse Chain wasn't ready yet. But the main reason is the price of Crow is so low now compared to where it could go. Crypto.com just bought the Staples Center, their name on the Staples Center, so it's going to be there for the next 20 years. I mean, they're not going anywhere, I don't believe. And we could have backed ourselves to Binance Coin. But I mean, then Binance Coin, does it have room to do a 10x? Probably not. We could have backed it to Ether, or to any of these other chains. But honestly, Crow does have an ability to go to $1, $5 pretty easily. And our sheep token is around 100 crows per sheep token. So if you could imagine, Crow hits $5 and we're worth, 100 sheep tokens instantly $500 a token. So we're kind of hoping for Crow. We're halfway kind of basing that Crow's going to do very well as our community to do very well. And if both things line up, then this is just going to go through the moon exponentially.
Yeah,
So.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think Crypto.com is one of the main sponsors of the World Cup right now, and which is pretty
Absolutely.
wild. It's nice to latch onto a chain that is going to grow over the next 5 years. But I think the cool part of what you guys are doing is sort of you're bringing on all the best elements of a successful crypto project over time, right? You know that you need a strong foundation of a community. You know you need the right technology, and you've been around long enough that you've seen what works and what doesn't work, and you sort of cherry pick the good parts to make something sustainable. I mean, I think we've all seen what happens to these dApps once new liquidity dries up in recent weeks and months. It's been a bit of a bloodbath out there. So to find an external income stream to help bring new funds back into the protocol to keep things rolling is vitally important, especially in this market. When retail runs for the hills, that's what's going to keep protocols like yours alive. But Sheep, I just want to go back to you, like the community, 5 years into this, obviously you've seen pretty much everything. You've probably tried every possible variant of crypto, from NFTs to yield farming to whatever. So, I mean, why DeFi? We saw last year everyone went centralized. We saw what happened with FTX blowing up, and now the sentiment is swinging back hard towards DeFi. But you guys seem sort of grounded there. Like, what kept you in DeFi over the last few years?
Well, just the fact that you're not dealing with any, well, for the most part, you don't have any, like middleman kind of, you're just dealing with contracts, and the contracts program to do what it does, and usually in most cases, the dev can't just go back and change things, but we've seen it a few times, where they do change things, and that's not always fun. But it's just, I think it's just it just seems like a safer play than putting your trust into a centralized party that could that can go down at any time. Of course, we've seen hacks, exploits in DeFi, which is always a risk that you take. But for the most part, as the space evolves, I think these contracts are getting better. They're getting stronger. They're getting to the point that we're it's pretty hands off, and it's I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Donnie, what do you think? I mean, what is your take on DeFi? I mean, because
honestly,
he's
man,
really into DeFi.
honestly, man, I think you hit the nail on the head with the points that you touched there. I mean, we're grounded in the DeFi and the, the, well, yeah, the DeFi space because of the transparency. The fact that, when you look at a contract, you can exactly see the terms and parameters that are going to be operated within, and, that's the thing. We're in an age now where money is more than just, a note changing hands, This is people signing a digital contract with their digital signature. That's a private key and a signature, so it's not all that different to any sort of other agreement that one might make in any sort of, scenario, financial or not, and that's really what it is. The transparency is really what draws, because you don't know what goes on inside those centralized exchanges or anything like that. You don't know what they do day to day. Hell, we're only finding out that a bunch of them stayed together in like a polycule in the Bahamas.
Right.
So
I know, man. Yeah,
And I think-
transparency at its finest.
I think what you guys are you both have said it, but you've also alluded to is the private keys. That's the most important thing, is that when you're dealing in DeFi, you're dealing with your MetaMask wallet, your wallet. No one else can touch those coins but you. Anything else that you could think of is you have to trust somebody else. This is a lot more trust in your own pocket. And I think that's kind of why we like it, because and that also comes with a bunch of risks, because there's a lot of scams out there. If you have these wallets, these MetaMasks, you have to know what you're clicking. You have to know what you're approving. You can't just willy-nilly click the wrong things, or you could be just as bad as an exchange. So, I mean, it's just more protection for the person, but you also have you have to watch out as well.
Well,
So-
and that's a question that I kind of wanted to throw to really all of you is, I've been in the DeFi space for a couple of years now, and I've been part of projects, and I've even worked with projects where the contract had a flaw, something fucked up in it. And then basically you either have to V2 the contract, migrate everybody over, but there's this element of you can't go back, right? And so it's this balance between trust in the dev that they've done everything they need to do, they've got the audits, they've made it 100%, or do you actually trust the person to be able to fix things and move forward, and then leave some of those elements of the contract open for adjustment down the road? And it's this balance. And I love decentralization. That's why I came to the space as well. I fully believe in it, but it does seem like everyone's trying to figure it out as we go, and there hasn't been a perfect solution yet. So I'm curious in your take. My friend says trust the code, not people, but I think a lot of people have trusted code and been screwed over, a bunch of times, right? So it's hard for normies like me who don't read code to understand exactly what I'm looking at.
Yeah. We could always go back to avarice.
There we go.
Oh, no, that's just bringing back trauma.
Too soon.
Low blow, huh?
Yeah.
No, but that's the point I'm trying to make, is like, that stuff happens, with these contracts. If it's not perfect, if they don't cross the T's and dot the I's on all that code, things can happen. And as we've seen with, like the lending thing, when the thing first launched, it ended up, they had to redo it and do it all over again because something was messed up. Right. So, that's why we pay special attention to our coding. Donnie's been, he goes through that stuff, with the fine tooth comb. He's been working on this contract specifically for, almost a year now, making sure everything's perfect.
Well,
so.
And I'm going to touch on that as well, just to sort of, give some insight to that. My testing practices have largely evolved over the time that we've been developing this protocol too, and that's really something that's been awesome too. Is just the amount that we've all sort of learned as we've been observing the space and building, Woolshed and Wool Token too. You touched on the trusting of code and the inability to go back and all that sort of thing. And so we're actually implementing something known as a proxy contract that allows us to essentially upgrade Woolshed in the future, right? So that's something that is sort of being figured out in the DeFi space as well. Is, how do contracts get upgraded? How do things get fixed? Do you migrate people to a new one, or is there, something you can change? So it's really, we're trying to figure out what works best for us as well.
I think it's almost both. But the challenge that I see is, there's great devs out there like you, Donnie, who know what they're doing, who are passionate about the project and they take good care. But what happens when this blows up? You guys all, make your bank and you decide, Donnie, it's not worth doing this again. I'm going to retire. Well, now we've lost a fantastic dev in the space that, could be teaching the next generation, but there seems to be this gap, right? It's always these new developers trying the same shit over and over again. And I'm not.
I don't think Donnie's
one
ever going to
project.
stop
Yeah.
coding, honestly.
I was about to say,
loves the
I
code.
don't think I'm ever going to be walking away from this space, at least not anytime soon. That's one of the things that really sort of gets to me as well. Is there are these projects that sort of appear, do their thing and then collapse and just be like, oh, this is fun, pack up and go home, bye guys, but
Right.
there's just nothing interesting in that for in that line of thinking for me. I think we are on the verge of being we're right here building the newest technologies, right? Even though crypto's been around for a good 10, 15 years now, maybe a little more, right? We are still discovering what works and what does not as a greater ecosystem, not just Sheep or Degen Protocol or anything like that. And we have a chance to influence that. So why the hell wouldn't you want to make something sustainable that gives you that, the chance to have that foot in the door? Is really where I'm at with it. It's way too early to be giving up on anything. So, I'm here for a long time, man.
No, I'm glad to hear that, but I think in the end it comes down to people's motivation and why they get into the space in the first place, right? And you've obviously been around for a number of years and you've stuck with it. And I'm the same way. I have a personality where if I try something new and I latch onto it for more than 2 weeks, it's with me for life. Otherwise, I drop it completely and move on. And I'm here. I'm here, and my job is to educate and sort of bring awareness to fantastic projects. But I'm glad that you're here. It's just can't speak for the rest of the space, right? There's a lot of people that think they can come in and make a buck by cloning a shitcoin contract from a YouTube video and moving on with their life, right?
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty sad.
It hurts, right?
that's the other scary thing that's been happening too. I don't know if you've ever seen these, but the videos that pop up on like YouTube claiming to be like a flash loan arbitrage bot that you deploy through Remix or whatever, like they literally coach people through deploying a contract, funding it with BNB, and triggering a function which is supposed to, swap the gaps on Pancake Swap to extract profits. Right? It's such a terrible thing. That's how dangerous DeFi is. As at the same time, talking about that trustless nature of everything.
Absolutely. And
But-
one thing I'd like to add to that, Donnie, is one of the main things we wanted. So one of the main things we saw as a problem with a lot of projects is you have these leaders of the project that get a big handful of tokens, and the first thing they want to do is dump it on the community when everything looks good. So what we did is we picked 5 core members of our community that were already doing very well in crypto, that did not need any funds out of the Sheep token to survive or any of that kind of stuff. And those 5 board members have also been the 5 biggest investors in the token. We've never sold a single token, that type of thing, and we don't intend to. So we were thinking that is, if that's one problem that the project doesn't have, is that the people with the tokens or the people that are in control aren't dumping it on the community, what can the project do from there? Because we've hardly ever seen that. So that's one thing that our token has, is just that trust factor. And, we did truly build this for the community. We were just kind of hanging around, and then everyone was, kind of telling us, oh, you should make a coin or you should do this. And finally, when enough people tell you you're drunk, you sit down, I guess. So that's kind of what we did. We just were like, all right, we can do something really cool for you guys, and we can do it real honestly. And even our raise, even when the token came out, we as board members bought the token after the launch, just like everybody else. Like I actually got in late because I had a couple failed gas transactions. So that's kind of how we felt would be the best way to do it. Not just we have a certain group of people get to buy it for cheap early, and then those people get to dump it on everybody else. No, we wanted it fair all the way across the board. And when our NFTs come out, the way that the NFTs are structured, the way that they're priced, the way that they earn is completely fair across the board. There's no incentive for early whales or anything like that. If you get in on day one and put in $100,000, you're going to get the same proportionately as somebody who comes in 100 days later and puts in $500, you know. So
Well, and that's honestly one of the big things that I like about your community. It's just transparent, no bullshit. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we're going to do to make it sustainable, and you know, take it or leave it. But I think you touched on something that's vitally important, that's often overlooked, is you can have the best protocol in the world, but without that community support, it really won't go anywhere, right? I think we've seen, you know, pretty genius tech out there over the last couple of years that has just fallen by the wayside because of lack of community development. So Sheep, I'm curious, how did you nurture this community you've got? I mean, they're wild boys, don't get me wrong, but it's a really tight knit crew of people that spend, like, these are genuine friends who probably never met in person.
Well, it's just because we've all been through so much bullshit together. We've been through so many rug pulls, and, like, you know, we're against scams and rug pulls, like with a passion, you know. Like, we've you know, we of course we haven't won them all, but, you know, we've had a pretty good run the last couple of years in the DeFi space, and, you know, we've all kind of stuck together, and we all have the same vision, you know. We really just want to find the best of the best in crypto and bring it to the world, and you know, so far we've done a pretty good job at that, you know, and you know, it's all about the, you know, the energy you put out, you know, like the you know, your what do they call that, the law of attraction, you know, when you get people on the same, you know, the same that are in the same, like, frequency, you know, like, we all vibe together, you know, like, it's of course some people come in there and, you know, they talk shit or whatever, and they leave, but, you know, the foundation has, you know, there's really a lot of people in there that have been around for a long time and have made this community what it is. You know, we've all been just winners together, and it's you know, it's been a journey, man. we've had a lot of fun doing it. So
and I want to tip my hat to Blacksheep, because, you know, I was in crypto for a long time before I met him, and I'm sure you know this as well. I mean, there are a lot of projects out there that could have, like, a Ponzi-ish nature. You know, they have referral systems or whatnot. Then you have these YouTubers that are online and they're just shilling their link, and they don't give a crap if it's real, if it makes money. They don't care about anything. They want to get all those referral to their name and just make a lot of money as they can. And that's what a lot of people do. So when I personally came into the Blacksheep protocol, they were in this project that was kind of a Ponzi-ish project, you know, and it required a referral code to start it. So, you know, I say, okay, Crypto Blacksheep, you know, I'm ready to go. Can I get your referral code? He goes, hold on, let me get it for you. And he sends me this referral code. And naturally, I'm like, okay, you know, this guy's going to get so rich because, you know, I joined his referral code. That wasn't his code. What he gave me was the code for the last person that joined into the group. And then he takes my referral code and gives it to the next guy that joins in the group. And I'm like, what is this? This is like some community badassness, you know? And his whole philosophy was, he goes, listen,
just made fucking human centipede of rewards, basically. Like,
exactly. So like,
right.
like me, I didn't have to go out and fish for somebody. And then when that next person came in under me, somebody else new came in and they went under them. And I got loaded up in, like, double rewards from having two people under. And I, you know, I asked him, like, down the line, I'm like, dude, why would you do it that way? I mean, you could have made so much more money if you just had it all to your referral. He goes, yeah, but if everyone's making money, then we're all happy, you know, and I want everyone to make money, not just myself. And I was like, you know what, dude, that is some respectful shit. And I haven't left since. So
No,
yeah, that's
I mean,
always it's always been my thing. You know, I'm always, my community comes first before me, because my community has made me who I am. You know, like I've got everything you see here paid off. I just bought a $150,000 truck. You know, if it weren't for this community to be here and support me this whole time, like, none of this would have happened, you know. So I always put my community first, and any project we get in, like, I'm not the guy at the top making all the money, you know. I'm going underneath with everybody else, and we send it to a rewards account that then dishes out all the rewards to everybody, you know, so everybody has a fair piece of the pie, you know. So
no, that's
all
amazing.
about my
I mean,
community, number one.
the idea of paying it forward, you know, pays dividends.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, spirituality
What
not
goes
my
around
thing,
comes
but the
around,
idea of the
man.
universe coming back around, definitely a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But
It's,
I think, I mean, current market conditions aside, the one thing that situations like this do, as much as they flush out bad protocols, they also flush out bad people. Because if there's not a ton of gain in it, they're not going to stick around. So I think it's, people like you, and I'm hoping I can, contribute to this, idea of transparency and just good vibes all around, is the people that'll come out the other side be the leaders of the next run, right? So
Yeah.
I admire your community because it sort of embodies free speech, right? You have moderators, but they're, what does moderating in the Degen protocol look like? Just making sure people aren't killing each other. It's more in line with Elon's vision of what Twitter could be, one day perhaps. But
Yeah.
I really I like the chat for that reason.
Yeah, that's like our chat is like somewhere you can go when you get kicked out of every other chat for speaking your mind, And that's one reason like the community's grown so much, because they get it, we're not, we don't care if you're like, we have the sheep token, we have the Degen protocol, but we're also in everything else. So it makes no sense to not be able to talk about other projects and the projects that have got us to where we are today. We're all for it. As long as you're not, as long as it's not a rug pull or a blatant scam, we let people talk about whatever they want. Politics, religion, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like,
You can even bash our token if you want to. Fine, you got a problem with us, let us know.
No.
No, I'm just joking. But seriously, no, you can speak,
However,
speak your mind. You can speak your mind on it.
Yeah. And I will draw attention to this as well, is that one of the things that I think has really helped us, particularly since we launched Sheep Token, is the fact of our approachability. One of the things that people have been able to enjoy is that they could come into our chat, ask any question about our tokenomics, about what we're developing, what stage of the procedure we're at, ask anything. And I'll explain in like any level of detail what you're after, as to how it works and why it works the way it does. People have come to me with, questions about tokenomics of other things as well, and honestly, I'll tell people if I don't understand, I don't understand. But we've had some really awesome conversations and had some brilliant inspiration brought to Woolshed and our future endeavors as well, because people have been able to speak their mind, when they're not sure about something, or ask questions when they're not sure. It's meant that everybody gets to learn, and in such a common space as well, that's just even more empowering. So
and kudos to you guys for that.
The great thing about our community is the transparency too. Like, we literally we do live streams every day, 4:20 p.m. Vegas time. We're there showing you exactly what we're doing with the contract every day, where the money's going. Like, I'm on the screen, you can see my wallets, you can see like where, there's like really no way that anybody can FUD our project, because we're that transparent. Like, we're beyond transparent. You know what I'm saying? Who else does that? Where you get to see the developer every day. You get to see what we're doing every day. You get to see us pumping the chart every day. You can just see, all my wallets are there. You can check them all. There ain't no, funny business going on. Like really, you can't FUD our project. We're like the most transparent project in the crypto space.
What episode are we on? What daily episode are we on? Without a missed day?
Yeah, it's actually right here. Today will be episode 758.
Good God, man. I'm trying to do one of these every couple weeks, and you guys are doing every day.
Every day, man. That's how we roll. That's how we made a name for ourselves in the space, and that's how we're going to continue to do it.
But I think this is the future. I think people are going to demand more of their project leaders and their developers, because it's just who knows otherwise, right? When you get nothing back from the dev and you're just in a Telegram full of community members hoping for the best, like, it's just not a good feeling, and it doesn't last. So I think what you guys are, even if you guys mess up, I'm sure you'd still have 100% support and love from the community, because you've just been honest with them the entire time, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
We also post our StreamYard link to the YouTube show every day. Anyone has full permission to come in and be on the show. You can even ask questions live on the show if you want to. There's no restrictions. It's actually encouraged.
Cool. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to jump on.
Yeah.
You
come join us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's pinned. The links are pinned every day in the Telegram.
Well, that's incredible. So I guess shifting sort of general, what do you see in the market right now? Like, are we in for the extended winter everybody thinks? What's any thoughts on that?
I definitely think so, man. I don't think we've seen the bottom of Bitcoin.
I'm with you there.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's yeah.
Are we allowed to swear on the show?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm trying to hold back.
No, do your thing. I don't care.
I'm sorry. You know what I see in the market? You all are fucked. No, just kidding. Nah. I got to be honest. I think we got a little bit more bleeding that we're going to see across the market in general. You know, we are still seeing revelations of everything come out from centralized exchange to centralized exchange. Fucking FTX downfall just happened. We've had some Gemini lending thing pause withdrawals not 24 hours ago. There's so much going on, and it's all to do with these CeFi things. So really, I think the bag isn't done being shaken yet. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing for sure. I mean,
And
it
even
seems
some,
like every day there's another piece of news.
like
Yeah.
we got some I got some pretty big traders that I follow, and most of them are saying like we're probably not going to be out of the woods till like 2024. Like we might see a extended bear, and the reason is because of the traditional markets. We're in a recession. Whether they want to tell you we are or not, everything's happy, happy happy Gory or Dory or whatever. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, it's they're saying that we're probably looking at some more downside for sure. So
Well, it's interesting too because I mean the news has been super negative. It's tanked crypto, but at the same time we've always been
hunky-dory. I
pretty
think that's what I was talking
hunky
about.
dory.
Yeah,
I think that's the one.
Hunky
Yeah.
dory. There you go. Yeah.
But we've always been pretty closely tied to the S&P. So it's like it's weird that all this
Yeah.
news happens and then crypto falls, but then it seems like the S&P's coming with us. So I think it's just economic downturn in general that's gonna keep us down here. I saw Michael Burry tweeting. He's like, "You have no idea how short I am." It's like, all right, here we go again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's like they're all short as hell right now. It's just like if you look at the traditional markets, like we had like some big huge head and shoulders pattern that's been playing out this whole time, and like there's definitely they're seeing like there might be a little uptick, but it's gonna dump. It's gonna come down. Like just everything's wrecked. All these interest rates and inflation and all that stuff. Like it all means something, But I think with that announcement of Trump coming back into office, we might see some light at the end of the tunnel. So
We'll see with some interesting results for sure out of the midterms.
I only want to throw a comment on the end of that too, just saying as well, like because I'm over here in Aussie, right? So I often preface to the boys and I say, look, I don't have a horse to race in your guys' politics or nothing, but what I reckon is that Trump coming back into office, if he does, is going to be freaking awesome for the economy, right? Irrefutably, prior to the pandemic hitting, he was brilliant for the economy. Business was booming in America, right? But the one thing that I'm hesitant about, and maybe some of the fellas tell me I'm wrong about this, but I'm hesitant because Trump was very anti-Bitcoin. He was very pro to the idea that the only reserve currency should be the good old American dollar, right?
Yeah.
And I can understand why he thinks that, it's made him bloody rich, but yeah, so I just wonder if maybe there's going to be an issue there later on, but I don't know. It'll be interesting
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We're definitely heading into uncharted waters. And Donnie, just so you know, I'm part of the Commonwealth. I'm Canadian, so I don't have a horse in this race either. But everything we do in North America is tied to what the U.S. does. So I got to keep.
I mean, the whole world circles around what the U.S. does. Like it's a big thing. Our markets are what make the world go round, pretty much. So.
Yeah, it's
no matter where you're at.
No, it doesn't. And the challenge thing now is, I mean, we can see last year or 21, the printing was off the charts. We were doing these stimulus injections, and so where did all that money flow? A lot of it came to crypto because people were trying to 10x their bags, right? But now that's all gone. Yeah. Interest rates have gone up, so people's general cash flow has gone down quite a bit. So there isn't that excess liquidity in the market to send into collectibles or crypto or the stock market. So I think that's ultimately what will keep us down for probably a couple of years.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to see more chaos before it comes back for sure.
Yeah,
I think we're going to get Shane in here in a few minutes. He's just waking up, but.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to go get a can of drink real quick, keep myself awake a little longer. Yeah, I'll be right back.
I think Rhino's having a connection issue.
That's all good. We'll add him back in if he rejoins.
Right on. So, what have you been up to, man? You just decided to start a podcast, huh?
Well, no, you turned the tables on me here. There's Rhino. He's back. Yeah, I mean, I've been involved in crypto for the last couple years, but actually working in community management for the last, I don't know, 12 months or so. And sort of what I found was that there was, much like you've found, that a need for general community and transparency. So as I got more involved in the AMA side of things and doing these video presentations, the reception from the community was solid. So I wanted to sort of piggyback on that and see what I could do by, flipping the tables on talking to great projects like yours and figure out if I could bring something of value to the people of the cryptosphere.
Sure.
Oh, there's Shane. I'm
You
gonna bring him in.
can have your you got a YouTube channel you're putting this on? There he is.
This will be out on YouTube as well as all the general podcasts. The audio version will be on Apple Podcasts and all that. Welcome, Shane. How are you?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Sorry, I slept in a little late. I totally forgot it was this early.
It's all
This
good.
early. It's 10:30, man.
Well, I know. I'm normally up by 10, but for some reason I wasn't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, good to be here, man. Good to see you again.
So how
you too.
what episode is this?
Episode 1. You guys
Oh, really?
are breaking
this
the
is the
ice.
debut.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like
So
it.
Yeah.
Is it
Debut.
that you couldn't find anybody better to bring on your first show than us?
I
or-
could think of
Who's the
nobody
best?
better.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool,
appreciate it.
man. Right on.
Yeah. So Shane, we
We've
already
always
heard
had a
from
lot
the
of- We've
we already
always
heard
had
from the rest of these
respect
guys
for you.
about. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, we heard from the rest of these guys, but
You
tell
got
us,
me
how'd you get into
Nickelback?
crypto?
Me? Well, actually, that guy right next to me, White Rhino, he calls me up one day and he says, "Hey, man, I know we haven't talked in a few years. We were roommates prior." And he says, "But you got to listen to me. You got to take however much money you can and put it into these coins, these Masternode coins." That ended up making me, over $1 million. And from then on, it was just I was doing that. And then Blacksheep, I've known him about 17 years now. I came back in contact with him on TikTok. I was like, "Blacksheep, are you still doing the crypto thing?" He's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Sorry about language. I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
I'm gonna change your life. Get in my Telegram group. And I still have that. Actually, it was 4 days ago. It was exactly 2 years since Blacksheep and I got back in contact.
Nice.
And I joined this community. And he told me, "We're going to change your life." He said, "Whatever you're in crypto, cool, but I'm going to change your life. We're going to change it." And my life changed throughout this group because of those two guys right over there.
Yeah.
It was
Wow, that's
Black Sheep and Rhino.
Incredible story, but we've had a good chat about community already, and I think that this proves the point once again, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have so much history with a lot of us, like Black Sheep and I, 17 years, Rhino and I, 11, 12 years. And then Black Sheep's got a lot of years with a lot of the people in our community too. It's really amazing what he's been able to do.
Yeah, him and I met on the Vegas local music scene. He was a drummer, I was a guitar player, so
Yeah, I don't know if the first time we met was on MySpace, because it was the MySpace days, the date.
Right, yeah.
But it was either that or at one of his shows. I met him and he was just so fucking cool, and he was like just so like nonchalant, like, "I don't give a shit about anything. Let's just rock and roll,"
right.
Yeah, I
Pretty
think it's important to realize that there's two different types of shillers in this world. There's a type of shiller who wants you to join something so that they could profit from it. And there's a type of shiller that I think Black Sheep and I are, that when we find something that's so good, you want to shout it out to the rooftops to all your friends if it's real. You know what I mean? Which is scary at the same time. But that's kind of the thing. What me and him both were in things that we felt passionately about that were good, and that's why Shane got extremely lucky. You know what I mean?
And that's a great point. And I guess I want to ask, like, the weight of responsibility of roping in your friends and family into something that you firmly believe in, but ultimately there's still risk. Like, how do you manage that?
Carefully. I always warn people, like, hey, remember, even though this seems super great, there's always risks that even the most trustworthy team their shit could go down. Everyone will start calling them scammers, even if they're not. It's just part of the game, and you just have to try and mitigate your risk. I always tell people, don't ever put in what you're more than you're willing to lose, and that scares new people. But what do you mean lose? Like, no, the intention is not to, but I can't have you going and putting next month's rent up there thinking, well, because he made money, now I'm going to make a bunch of money before my rent's due. Because I've known people that are like, okay, I've got 30 days before rent, I'll throw half of my rent in. Like, no, you're not doing this through me, buddy. Nope, you do that on your own. I'm telling you, it's a bad idea.
No, I think it's a good lesson and a good message for anybody coming into the space right now is just be careful, right? Dollar cost average, do your own research, and I agree with Rhino on the whole shilling thing. Like, it's not why I'm in the game, right? That this isn't to pump the token, right? It's to educate people about quality communities and quality projects. So
Yeah, it's
that's
because you believe in something,
Like-
and that's different than just trying to do like not to name names, but certain people in the drip community, not their shillers are so like they make you feel like they just want you for exit liquidity, even if they don't. They could be genuine people, but they make you feel that way with the way that they shill it.
Well, and there's this mantra that crypto is a solo sport, which I don't agree with, really. I mean, everyone's in it to make money for themselves, certainly, but
If I may,
It is, but it is.
Donnie, go ahead,
I'd like
Donnie.
to say crypto is a solo sport where whales move together. I
That's
think
a good
is the
way of
better
saying it,
expression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually, I've never heard that expression. That's pretty.
Yeah, it's because I made it up just the other day. It's like someone else said that bloody thing, like crypto's a solo sport. I'm thinking, no, it's not, because as soon as one whale moves, everybody goes the same way. So in a way, that's I think that's more accurate. Is that crypto is a solo sport where you do have to exercise your own individual responsibility over your own portfolio, but crypto is a solo sport where people move together.
I like that.
And if
I
you
like
are
that.
a mover, you can move a whole market in a specific coin, and so that shows you are right, Donnie. I like that expression because it is very true. One whale makes a big move, and they dump. Now everyone's panics and they all start to follow suit.
Well, it's tough, right? Because some, like, if I were in that situation, which I haven't been yet, I'm still well on my journey here, but I might be looking at money that I've never seen before in my life versus the guy sitting next to me with the same bag doesn't care about that money at all, right? So, I don't like everyone's got to sell eventually, right? It's the name of the game. It's just, we should be celebrating the wins and not attacking each other for, taking what we need to, right?
Right. I agree.
Me personally, I've always hated money. I think money is the root of all evil. I hate it, but to me, I do realize the most valuable asset on this planet is time.
Agreed.
Yep.
The one thing we can't buy, it's the one thing we can't get back. And when you're working for somebody else, you are throwing your life away to give them time.
Yep.
And that's I think the only thing we were trying to do is buy people time, get people out of their freaking shitty jobs, where they could live and have more days off. I've worked for years of my life where I would work 6-7 days a week, and you get off work, you get enough time to eat, you go to sleep, and when your eyes open up again, it's back to work. Like, that is no way to live.
Well,
That's
still
that's
in it.
called existing. Not
It's
living.
the normal way to live, though, dude. That's the thing that most people don't realize is they're like, even us, honestly, up until a couple years ago, even though we were already doing crypto, we really didn't, know any other way to live than to do that 9 to 5 and working 50, 60 hours a week. I remember the day Blacksheep said, I'm quitting my job. It was almost exactly 2 years ago, if not 2 years ago to the day.
It was 2 years ago, 2 days ago.
Boom.
Congratulations.
I remember
That's
because I
amazing.
came back. I found him, came back in this community, and he was like, I'm quitting my fucking job where he made like 70, 80 grand a year. And I was like, you're doing what? You're quitting your job making, because I mean, that's good money at a job. I made, 80 to 100 usually. My last couple of years I worked, and I was like, you're quitting a job making that much, man. I hope you know what you're doing, because that's awesome. 2 years later, 2 years, 2 days later, here he is.
Gotta update my Facebook status now. Woo!
What?
Nice.
What?
I've been
Retired.
officially self-employed for 2 years.
But guys, I'm in there. I still have the 9 to 5. I've got the mortgage. I've got 3 kids, and that's
Minivan?
exactly. I do have a minivan. Yeah.
I remember that from our conversation before.
Exactly. Yeah. We call it the rad van. Actually, we don't. We
that's
call
the
it
way
the
it should
Screamin'
be.
Sedona because the kids just yell in it. But anyway,
Screaming. Not because the
But no,
motor is ripping.
Rhino's right. I'm trying to buy time, right? I look at, and this is actually a great segue because I want to spend the last few minutes we got here talking about what then, right? You know, you guys have done well for yourselves, and you've been able to sort of unlock your time. And I think a lot of people get so focused on the number that they don't think through to what happens when they actually get there. And that's what I want to kind of wake people up to. This podcast isn't going to just be crypto. It's going to be about health and fitness and interests and all of that, because I want people to actually think about their life, you know, holistically instead of just this narrow slice of it. So what changed for you guys? What did you do differently? Would you have done something differently? You know, could you do it all again? Because I think, you know, a lot of people get to retirement and they got no plans, and they think that it's going to be, you know, mimosas by the pool, and then they're bored as fuck. Yeah.
I've got a
My
million.
story is kind of
hobbies
interesting because, like, when I quit my job on, what was it, Flow and like Tron Chain, like, two of the biggest, like I mean, I made a lot of money, but like they aren't here today, you know, they're gone. So it's like, yeah, I mean, like I took a huge risk, but like all the money that I had a bunch of money when I quit my job, and I just started aping into stuff like Binance Smart Chain shit coins and stuff like that. And like I made some money here, made some money there. But when we got into Wick Hunter, we started doing some leverage trading with Wick Hunter, this bot that we were trading with. I made like I think almost $100,000 in like in a month. I was up like $60,000 one day live on my stream. The market crashed and I lost it all. I lost like 60 grand in one little market dump. Right?
We all
lost
on that.
At that point, I was so hurt, and like I was down to the last $20,000 to my name. And then on one of my live streams, when Drip came around, we got into the pre-sale, and then like on one of my live streams, I just said screw it, because I'd seen the price going up. I'm like, I think this thing's gonna be okay, you know. And I just put my last $20,000 of my name in Drip, and I pulled out at least $1 million from it now. So
and I thought, holy shit, that's your last money. What an idiot. On the live stream, I said, I called him a wiffle dick dummy. He's like, oh, putting in, and it was 20 BNB or something, or 20 grand worth of BNB. And I was like, you wiffle dick dummy. And he's like, I guess we'll see. So we actually play that sometimes to remind the moment that he changed his life. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? You like,
there were a few days in there where he was actually making 20 grand a day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was sweating because like my job, I mean, I was making like it was a $70,000 a year job, you know, like, and I just walked away from it. I burned my bridge, right? So like I was like, man, I can't even go back to my job now. So, but it all worked out, you know, and that's the thing about, I think, that, you know, like that the universe, you know, does some crazy things, man. When you're in the right state of mind and you're helping people, you know, that's all I've ever tried to do is just help people change their lives, and I think like, you know, someone upstairs was watching me, and I've been blessed, man. I've been really blessed. Like, you know, I'm still making, even with the whole market crashed to hell. Like, I think I'm still pulling around 60,000 a month. You know, so it's not, you know, I'm still doing really good. And it's I think it's only going to get better from here, man. Like, but
yeah, you talked about the hedge funds.
Yeah, I know, but the hedge funds are good. But the thing is, like, when I quit my job, like I made a choice, because I was like, do I want to sit here and focus on this all day long? Because I'm trying to shuffle back and forth between my community and answering the phone, you know. And it just got to the point, I just got so sick of it, you know, and I wanted to just focus my time and energy on what I really wanted to do in life, you know. And I just said screw it, and I told my boss I'm done, and you know what, I've never looked back. You know, it's been a wild ride, you know, and I took a huge risk, but we're good. We're good.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, same, dude. Even if like, for me, the reason why I stopped working is when I originally got laid off from COVID, because I was the highest paid guy for my company in my market, because I was the boss. And then they laid me off. Hey, we can't guarantee you any work or money, so you want to temporarily go on unemployment, and we'll take you back in a couple months. Sure. Fast forward a couple months, they're not giving me my job back. They're making every excuse. You know, my main boss, so when I come to town, we'll sit down. I'm, you know, never here. So I start going to interviews with other companies, and they wanted to pay me like 15 to 17 an hour starting. Meanwhile, I'm a journeyman. I made like 45 an hour at the last company. So it was going to those interviews. I was already making a bunch of money in crypto, but I was never spending it. I was just stacking it. So I was like, you know what? I'm doing good enough in crypto that I don't need to work. It's not worth me getting up for $15, $17 an hour to potentially. I fixed garage doors, and people don't realize that's extremely dangerous. You can get your arms ripped off. You can lose limbs, fingers. killed from the pressure of those springs, you know? So it's like,
this used to be a garage door, and I was like, there's no fucking way I'm taking that out myself.
Exactly. Yeah, you'd call a guy like me to fucking risk it. And for 15 to 17 bucks an hour, I was not willing to risk getting fucking hurt. Like I had cracked fingers and shit when the bars slip and I get hit. So it's a really dangerous job. People don't realize, but that's why I made so damn much. People would be like, you make 6 figures sometimes fixing garage doors. I was like, yeah, there's guys in my company that would make $250,000 a year fixing garage doors because they worked in like saying down in Phoenix where it's real big and busy. And you know, the danger of the job, but I was like, I'm not risking myself and my body for 15 to 17 an hour. I told him I will not even leave the house for less than 25 an hour. So that for me, that was, I'm not opposed to going back to work if ever need be, but I don't regret the last 2.5 years of doing what I did. If I had to go back to work tomorrow, and if I had to, I still wouldn't have to. It would be more of a choice because I like to have a big cushion, and right now with the market, my cushion isn't as big as I'd like. I'm good with money, and I like to have that cushion. And when I don't, I'm like, I already was thinking, man, maybe I'll just go to work at Cabela's, like be one of those old guys working selling fishing lures or something, you know. I may not make much there, but at least it'd be like fun. Like I could talk to people about like fishing or whatever, you know, and be there like, oh, here you go. There's a fishing lure for you, buddy. There you go. You can go sit in the corner and make my 15 an hour.
Hey, whatever makes you happy, right? And at the end of the day, that's a choice that you can make as opposed to something that you have to do, right? And I think like most of us, I have no interest in retiring, in stopping. I just want to be able to do things on my own terms, right? And it sounds like that's exactly what you guys are doing. So
that's one of the biggest things that I've really fought for, and one of the things that I swear I don't know about how anybody else feels, but honestly, I don't ever want to go back to the 9-to-5 wage cage. Like, I mean, if there is, you know, if there's one thing that I swear I never want to do again is be in that position, you know? I mean, because honestly, it's like I say, I've found my calling here in crypto and in coding, and I love it, you know? I think there's a lot that can be done in this space. But really, I think, I don't know, man. Yeah, the market's got a bit more to go. So just, I'm going to be holding on.
But for people entering now, I mean, I think the bulk of people in crypto now probably entered last year, right? And they rode the whole wave and are now sitting on pennies. But this is their opportunity, right? This is the DCA time, right? To build the bags that, you know, you think will survive over the next, 5 years, and then you can come out the other side and be good to go. At least that's what I'm working on right now. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I agree.
Right on, guys. Why don't we park it there? But I want to say thank you. I mean, this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed having you guys on, and thanks for breaking the ice for episode 1. And
right, episode 1.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks for settling for us.
Anybody out there wants to join our community? t.me/Degen_protocol. You can catch us on the Blacksheep show every day at 4:20 p.m. Vegas time. And thanks for having us, Rad Dad. Appreciate it.
I'll drop all those links in the show notes so people can click right through to you guys.
Yeah, and whenever you do a show, man, let us know. Drop it in our chat and shit. So if we have the ability, we can, if nothing more, come watch it and help support you, man. Because we haven't known you long, but the little bit of interactions we've had with you have always been a stand-up dude. And we respect you. We've had conversations about you, even when previous stuff that you were working with didn't go so well. We were all of us were like, but Rad Dad is fucking cool, and he has no part of the whatever that was that went bad. Wasn't his fault, had no part of it. And we had talked about you in your badass fucking minivan.
I appreciate it, guys.
Minivan. Right. Yeah, thanks, Rad Dad. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
See you, brother.
later.
Cheers.
Well, Rad fam, that's a wrap on episode 1 of the Rad DAO podcast. I want to send a huge thanks to the Degen Protocol guys for kicking off the show with me. I had such a great conversation with them today. And if you want to learn more about them, I've dropped the links to their Telegram as well as their website in the show notes below. If you want to support the channel, it'd be great if you could drop a comment, like, and or subscribe to the YouTube channel. Or if you're an audio listener, please leave me a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That's it for now, but I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Rad DAO podcast. The Rad DAO podcast is produced for entertainment and education purposes only. I know this because I'm not a licensed financial advisor. If you're thinking of investing in any of the tokens talked about during this episode, then I implore you to please do your own due diligence, and if necessary, consult with a licensed financial advisor.